Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Naomi, and let's dream about beauty. In today's video, I have for you 10 things that you don't know about me. But if you want to know, stick around because you're going to find out. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start out with my foundation. The Too Faced Peach Perfect. I'm mixing two shades together. Light beige and porcelain. I already have my primer on. I used the No Problem from Touch and Soul. I find with this foundation is it's easy to go a little too far. Like, I wore it yesterday and I put 2 layers on it and I felt like I looked a little cakey. So I'm going to try and manage with just 2 pumps instead of what I did yesterday, which I think was 4 pumps. I'm peeling at the corners of my mouth from my retinol. Does that every now and then. Okay, so now I'll go in with the concealer. So the first thing that you don't know about me is that when I was 16, I was in a beauty pageant. In the town where I grew up, we had Miss Teen pageant that if you won, you went to the Miss Teen Canada pageant. And I will insert some photos so that you can see. It was a really fun time. I enjoyed it. And I placed first runner-up. So, which was perfect actually, because my family, we were moving from the town about 6 months after the pageant, so if I'd won I wouldn't have been able to stay for the entire year anyways. And yeah, so it was super fun. Just trying to get my concealer all blended in here. Okay, so that's concealer and foundation done. And now powder. So the second thing that you don't know about me is that I am a struggling artist. And by struggling, I don't mean I'm struggling to make a living. I mean I'm struggling to make art. So I will show you the one painting that I'm most proud of. This is my peacock painting. My bedroom, as you can see, has the green and purple, so this was painted to go on my wall. So it actually goes on the wall back there, but you can't see it from here. But anyhow, that's peacock painting. So, struggling artist. I took art in high school. I've never taken like formal art lessons. I just like to fool around. Okay, I've been trying a new thing with my contour. So this is the Fenty matchstick in amber. And I just swirl the brush. Now I'm going to make my fish lips. And blend the contour right in there. Like so. Go in again. I've done several paintings, so I will insert a couple pictures of some of my other paintings for you to see. Trying to not disturb the foundation on my nose, so I'm just kind of patting it in for my nose contour. I never know what I'm doing when I'm contouring my nose. I just, I just do it. Whatever happens, happens. And hopefully it looks good at the end. As I say, this is the time for experimenting with makeup, practicing new techniques, trying out new colors, doing things that you wouldn't do before. And I love that I have this channel, because if it wasn't for this channel, I would not be wearing makeup at all. But now I get excited to wear my makeup. Sorry. I have a lot of hair breakage and sticks to my skin. Okay, so that's contour. And now I'm going to go in with some of my breezy cream colored, well, not cream colored, cream bronzer. Alright, so the third thing that you don't know about me is that I used to be a mother to 8. So I have 3 of my own children. And the first night I met my husband, we didn't really talk about kids. We met on a dating website, and he knew that I had children, but I didn't know if he had children. And then the second night we dated, he told me that he had 2 teenagers. And then the third night that we dated, he told me he had 5 kids. So by then I was invested enough to stick around. And because I used to be a teacher, and at that point I was working at my kids' daycare and teaching kindergarten, I thought to myself, well, the more the merrier. That's not what I thought. Anyhow, so then when I moved in with my husband, this was in 2009, he had 5 and I had 3, so we had 8. The youngest was 4 and the oldest was 16. No, she'd just turned 17. So the 2 older ones left in 2012, and then for the remainder of the time we had 6, And now the two oldest of that group are no longer with us. Well, that makes it sound like they're not alive. They are alive, but they don't live with us anymore. That's my son and Greg's son. So now we have 4 teenagers left at home. My daughter, you've seen her on my channel, she's 18. And then Greg's son is 17. And then my son is 16 and his son is 15. So, this is a really pretty bronzer. I highly recommend it. It blends out beautifully. It just gave me nice color. But I think I'm gonna go in and deepen up that contour because it's kind of bugging me. So being a mother to 8 was challenging. We had full-time custody of all 8 children, so they all lived here. And it was funny when we made a couple of trips to Jamaica with all 8, and people on the plane would just be like, "What is going on?" when I would come down the aisle with a big stack of passports like that. Or in customs, when you go through customs and like this whole big horde of 8 people go up, and he's like, "What is happening?" And you give them like this big stack, and then that's when the kids were really little and he couldn't see them, so he'd be like, "All right, which one of you is Riley?" And Riley would be like, me, and then which one of you is Kennedy? And it was so cute. Those are some fun times. But now they're older and they're still fun, so I don't know what I would do during this quarantine if I didn't have my teenagers, because they really make me laugh. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So now for blush, I'm going to go in with the Lancome Le Monochromatique in the color Le Petit Bissou, and I don't know what that means. It's a nice rosy pink. I'm trying to get better at describing the colors of pink, like candy pink, bubblegum pink, Barbie pink, rosy pink, fuchsia. Okay, so the 4th thing that you don't know about me is that in 2008, I live in Calgary, and I don't know if any of you remember, but in 1988, the Winter Olympics were here, and I live very close to the ski hill and ski jump and whatnot that was built. And we have a bobsled track that was built for the Olympics, and the Canadian bobsled team, I believe, trains there, as well as the Canadian skeleton team and the luge team. So I don't know if you can still do this, but back then they had this thing where you could pay money and spend an afternoon training, and then you could do the skeleton. So unfortunately, I don't have any pictures of myself from that time, because nobody was taking pictures. I wish there had been, you know, somebody taking pictures and you could pay for photographs, that kind of thing. But so you went for the afternoon, and it was about a 2-hour training session where they talked about the equipment and techniques and how not to kill yourself, because it's like a bobsled track, and you've seen the picture of the skeletons. Of course, you're on your stomach head first, zipping along, going very fast on this bobsled track. So I remember when I laid down on the sled, and I had a helmet on and I was breathing, and all I could hear was, it sounded like Darth Vader, the sound of my breathing. I was petrified. So they were holding me in place because it's quite steep. They were holding me in place, and when you didn't take a running start, just held in place, and then they just let go, and you started to move, and then you picked up speed. So I just thought, okay, the whole key to not killing yourself is just let the sled do what it wants to do and just don't fall off the sled. And especially when I went through the corkscrew turn, you can feel the force that's trying to pull you away from the sled, so you have to really keep your shoulders down and very tight, and you've got your arms back, and it's terrifying. But I was so proud of myself for having the courage to do this, as it was incredibly exhilarating and incredibly exciting. And I'll never forget when I thought, because I had no idea where I was on the track. I mean, I had my head down, the shield was over my face, and I didn't even know like where in the track I was, how much longer it was going to be. I couldn't see anything. It was just a blinding blur. All I could hear was the thunder of the rails of the sled on the ice. And just when I thought, I can't do this anymore, I can't stay on, this is too much, it ended. And one of the trainers comes running over to me, and he's like, "Oh my God, you got the second fastest time." So out of everybody that was doing the skeleton that day, there was probably a group of about 16 or 17 of us, I got the second fastest time. And that was very exciting. And that was me against heavier men and, everybody. So I was like, maybe I was born to do this. And the speed I attained was 89 kilometers per hour. So that's pretty good. It's very exciting. Okay, now I can't decide. I think I'm going to use the, what should I use? The two I'm deciding between is I want to use the Morphe. This is the 18A Blue Yahweh, and then there's the Kaleidos Futurism 2 Cyber Bronze, and I'm trying to decide which one I want to use. I think I'm going to go with the Morphe 39A. Okay, I got my trusty JH32, and I'm going to go in with the shade Applause, which is this one right here in my crease. So the fifth thing that you don't know about me is that when I was 12 years old, no, 13. I was 13. I was here visiting Calgary. I was visiting my aunt, and Muhammad Ali was the, I don't know if most of you probably haven't heard of the Calgary Stampede, but it's considered one of the best known rodeos and outdoor, I don't know, it's like a big fair, a rodeo, etc. And this is blending out really nicely. And so every year there's a celebrity parade marshal for the Calgary Stampede Parade. And that year it was Muhammad Ali. So I saw him in the parade, and then later on we went to the Stampede grounds, and I saw him, and he was standing in a group and he was doing autographs. And so my aunt said, go over and get his autograph, go over and get his autograph. And, you know, at one point, Muhammad Ali was the most recognizable person in the entire world. People from all over the world knew who he was. He was so famous. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So I went over with the pamphlet from the Stampede Parade and a pen. And just as I got there, he started to walk away. So I hurried up and I went and I got in front of him and I just held out and he kind of looks me up and down and takes my paper and signs my autograph. So that was pretty cool. I think out of everybody, my dad was the most excited that I got Muhammad Ali's autograph. And I still have it. Well, my mom has it. It's one of our treasured kind of family heirloom type of things. It probably has some small amount of value just because it actually is signed on the official Calgary Stampede Parade brochure. But if it doesn't have any significant value, just sentimental value to us. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the shade Headliner, which is this darker gray color. Just use a bit of a so yeah, I have, well, it's actually kind of more of a blue. That's good, that's exactly what I was looking for. Okay, so the sixth thing that you don't know about me was that when I was 8 years old, I was bit by a dog right in my face. And I was left with a large hole in my lip. So what happened was I was over visiting my friend and she had 2 large dogs, and it was after school and we weren't supposed to be there. She was not allowed to have friends over when her parents weren't home, but we disobeyed and I went in and we were playing Barbies, and the dog was in my way, and I didn't push him or anything, but I kind of patted him on the back and he turned around and just bit me. And I have a scar here on my lip, but they did such a good job of stitching it that you can hardly even see it anymore. It's right here. But I know my mom was not too pleased when I came home with a hole in my lip. But thank goodness I wasn't too traumatized by the event, because I I don't have a fear of dogs or anything like that. But it was certainly scary when it happened. I remember it happening, and it was instantly bleeding, and we ran to the washroom, and I got a washcloth, and my friend gave me a washcloth and I put it over my mouth, and then I went to look, and yeah, there was this gaping hole in my face, so that's not ideal. So I'm just going back in over. Sorry, maybe I should stop recording because I hit 30 minutes. Hopefully it wasn't, I don't know what when I edit it, I will have to make note of how much was missed. But yeah, so the sixth thing was that I was bit by a dog. Okay, so that's how it's looking so far. And now I'm going to, it looks kind of crazy. Now I'm going to use this. This is called Whoa Show. Whoa Show. Using a smaller brush. And try and go for a halo eye. Okay, so the seventh thing that you don't know about me is that when I was younger, and maybe this ties in with the skeleton thing, I used to be absolutely fearless. We used to play all kinds of games, swinging games, and so we had one game that we played. It was, I mean, think of like kind of a Tarzan sort of game. There's a swinging bar on a chain that you jump and you grab onto the chain. You have to swing across a certain distance, and then each time you make it so you jump for the swinging bar, you have 3 times to swing across, and then you let go and you jump onto the other side. And then everyone who makes it gets to stay in the game. Everyone who doesn't make it is out. And then you make the space wider, and then you go again. And everybody in the school, and this was when I was in grade 5, everybody in the school loved playing this game. And I was one of the best in the school because I was absolutely fearless. I didn't care. I would be swinging almost parallel and let go of the bar, and I'd just go flying and try to land across onto the other side. And it wasn't until my father was killed in an accident when I was, whoops, I keep using this darn mirror, when I was 22, that I calmed things down and stopped being so fearless. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my shimmer, and I'm going to use the shade Standing O, which is right here. I'm going to spray it. So I wouldn't describe myself as fearless anymore, but I used to be fearless. I would climb rocks, climb mountains. I grew up in the mountains. I'd go climb mountains. I wasn't afraid of heights. I wasn't afraid of anything. Now I'm not like that anymore. I'm afraid of a lot of stuff. Like, I would never. When I was a teenager, I would have bungee jumped. I would have jumped out of an airplane. Would have done lots of dumb things like that. But now, So that's what we're looking like so far. The 8th thing that you don't know about me is that I used to be a competitive swimmer. When I was a kid, a teenager, I was in a swim club, and I would go to swim meets and swim competitively. And to this day, I'm still a very good swimmer. And I have no fear of the water. That's one thing. And I used to love diving, although I never was into a diver, but I would just love, I would jump off and do flips off of the diving board and stuff like that. So yeah, I used to be, unfortunately, my dad, when I was a teenager, lost his job, and I had to quit because we could no longer afford it. So that's sad. But I used to love, well, I still love the water and I love swimming, but I used to really love to swim. And I'm going in with a shade called Opening Act, and it's a white metallic. I'm just putting it right in the middle there. On top of the blue shimmer. So, the 9th thing that you don't know about me is that I have never been trick-or-treating. I grew up in a very strict religion where we did not celebrate Christmas or birthdays or Easter or Halloween and all of those traditional holidays that you know, that you might enjoy as a child. I never had a chance to celebrate. And when I was 16 is the first time I celebrated Christmas. And when you don't know what you are missing, you don't really miss it. But when you find out, once you experience something and then you realize that, you know, I will never experience what Christmas is like as a child. I will, and I have never been I've been trick-or-treating with my kids, but not as a kid. And by the time we kind of moved away from that religion and sort of started celebrating some of the holidays that most everybody else does, I was too old to trick-or-treat. So I remember I'd go to my friend's house and she would give me her unwanted candy, which was kind of her. I mean, I didn't get the good stuff, but she was kind enough to share with me the stuff that she didn't want. So that's my sad story. This shade called Opening Act. Ooh, it is beautiful. This is a beautiful palette. I flippin' love it. I mean, it looks a mess right now because I got fallout everywhere. But once I clean that up, put some lashes on, etc., etc., I think it's gonna look great. It's almost like a duochrome because I think it does have a little bit of blue to it. Okay, so I'm going to clean this up, do my lashes, eyeliner, blah blah blah, and I'll be back and you can learn the 10th thing you don't know about me. Okay, so while I was gone, I did my eyelashes, eyeliner, put some lipstick on, and so this is the finished look. Definitely a look for nighttime, like going out at night. I would never ever ever wear this to, like, you know, want to pick up a prescription or get groceries or something. But yeah. So the 10th thing that you don't know about me is that I have flown an airplane. I did not land it. I did not take off, but my dad had his pilot's license. And when I was in grade 6, for some strange reason, he decided to buy an airplane. We were not wealthy people. We were actually kind of poor. And I don't know, I guess he was at an auction and they were auctioning off an airplane and he decided to buy it. And I went flying with him a few times and he let me fly the airplane, which was a pretty cool feeling. So yeah, I have flown an airplane. So those were 10 things that you don't know about me, but now you do. Now you know. And hopefully this was entertaining and you learned a thing or two about me, which, yeah, it's always nice to know more about people that you are watching or that you consider to be your friends, etc. Time is our most precious resource, and when you spend a little bit of your time with me, it's really great. I really, really appreciate it. I hope wherever in the world you are, that you are well, that you are healthy, that you are happy. Thank you so much for taking the time. Oh, I already said that. But thank you for taking the time to check out my content, and I hope you're going to come back for more. Please consider subscribing, activating the notification bell, liking or commenting. I'd love to know some things about you that are interesting. Have you ever done anything weird, wacky, interesting that other people might be surprised to know about? That is it from me for today. And take care and bye-bye.